Welcome, everyone. We are back. We are in 2021, and this is my first live stream here on LinkedIn, Facebook, and to YouTube of the new year. It's great to see all of you guys. I hope to see your comments in the comment section. And as you know, I love to get it started. If you could go ahead and leave a comment with one thing that you're grateful for today, and where in the world are you watching from? Because I get to talk with people from all over the globe. It is so amazing. I've gotten to learn so much this year because of that global connection and really getting to shift my perspectives into a wider view of the world and a wider view of how we're all connected to each other. But the reason I wanted to hop on and do a short live stream today was to talk about something called Clubhouse. Now, if you're watching this right now, go ahead and let me know. Have you heard of Clubhouse? Do you not know what I'm talking about? I'd love to know, what is your level of engagement and awareness of this app so far? And in case you hadn't guessed, it is another social media app, but it's a little bit different than all the other ones, while also being very similar to some things that we're very used to. The way that I would describe Clubhouse is as a chat room. It is an audio-only chat room, meaning you're not typing things in and texting to people, but instead you're sending voice-only communications. Now, you do have a little profile picture that's going to visually show who you are. You're going to have access to a profile. You can build a profile just like on any other platform that has a bio section, and it links to your Instagram and to your Twitter account. But other than that, it's very simple. You guys, it's a super new app. So in the life cycle of apps, it's still in its really developmental stage, almost still in a beta stage at this point around what are some of the features, what are some of the different things that you can do on this app. What's up, Gary? How's it going? You haven't heard of Clubhouse yet? Well, pay attention because it has just started to really become big in the media, big in the news, and I imagine it's going to continue to gain traction as more and more people start using this app. I personally downloaded the app just a couple days ago, and part of what's making this app get so much buzz is that it's got exclusivity, meaning you have to get an invite to get in. What does that mean? It's really just a slower mechanism for them to grow and kind of stay in a beta mode so that they actually don't grow too quickly and experience some of the problems that come along with, having millions of people download your app all at once. That can lead to some crashes. It can lead to some bad things when it comes to app growth. So I think they're being pretty strategic and smart in that sense. Allowing themselves to grow into the growth of the audience. But then also in terms of, exclusivity and making people want things, right? That's how Nike blew up early on when they got started, is they would only release their newest shoes at a select number of Nike store locations, and you had to go to the store to get that pair of Nikes in person. And that's why the Nike stores would have, crazy lines, and there'd be these leaks about where the new shoes were going to drop at which stores. So that was a really effective way that they were able to gain a lot of free press, gain a lot of popularity. And Clubhouse is using that same tactic to say, you know what? You got to have an invite to get in. This is a special club. We don't just let in anybody. And when you get in, you get one invite. So by the nature of each person who comes in getting an invite, the app naturally is going to grow, especially as people say, hey, could I use your invite? Could you invite me into the Clubhouse? Now, so here are some of the things that I've observed in the probably 10 hours that I've spent on the app, is that it's a very interesting way to consume content that's almost more passive feeling than any other type of content consumption, meaning you don't necessarily have to pay attention as much as you would, let's say, reading something on LinkedIn, right? When you're reading on LinkedIn, you actively have to be focused on what it is that you're reading. It's very hard to be reading a post on LinkedIn and watching a movie and working on your next project, let's say. It's one or the other. With Clubhouse, you could just kind of have it on in the background as you're doing other work. And it's something where you can kind of listen a little, tune out a little bit, tune a little back in. And I think that makes it actually very different than podcasting. A lot of people are comparing it to podcasts and listening to podcasts. How I've heard it described, and I agree to some extent, is that it's kind of like the combination of a podcast and a virtual conference, except that it's audio only. Now, what I think makes it different is that when I'm listening to a podcast, I actually have to listen very intently if I'm really interested in the podcast. Otherwise, I miss a bunch of it, and now I can no longer follow along with what's being said. Meaning most podcasts are relatively chronological in terms of it's pretty important to listen to the previous episodes to get full value and context for the current episodes. With Clubhouse, it's much more, you can, again, that in and out, that popping in and out, not only of a particular room, but kind of hopping all around the Clubhouse into different rooms, is really something that can be achievable, where you're getting a lot of value out of it because you're learning things and you're being exposed to new ideas, but it's not taking your full attention. And that's where I think it's going to continue becoming very, very popular. And just from what I've been listening to in the 10 hours I've spent, listening in these different rooms on the app, is a lot of people are going really deep into this app right away. They're saying things like, I've been in this room, or I've been on, the app for the past 5 hours, for the past 8 hours. So people are tuning into the Clubhouse and staying in it for a very long time because it's conversation based. And honestly, we're fascinated with conversations. And it's a really interesting format for being able to expose yourself to different ideas. That's something that I really like about it. You can hop around in the different rooms and really hear people who maybe you've never heard that type of person talk before. And it's something where each room has a host, the person who created the room. It's got some moderators who are helping decide who's speaking, who's not speaking, the different permissions. And then it's got a bunch of guests. And you can hop into any room as a guest. You can raise your hand in some of the rooms and then called up to the front of the room, I think is what they call them. I'm still learning all the lingo. But then you get called up to a different section. They can then unmute you and you can talk. And there's, anywhere from 2 people in a room to 2,000 people in a room. And there's no limit on how long these rooms can exist for. So again, think of it like a chat room, a classic chat room, but it's all audio only. So when you pop in, you don't know what's been going on. That's actually another, I think, fun part of it. When you pop into the room, you don't know what everyone's been talking about. They've already been talking for who knows how long. You get to kind of pop in, listen. If you want to contribute to the conversation, you certainly can. You can you can start your own room, start your own conversation. So I think it's a really cool new way that we're taking social media. I think it's really cool to see all these different iterations of what social media can look like. I mean, have you guys seen how many new apps came out in 2020 around social media? It's pretty amazing. I can only imagine that there are going to be even more new social media apps that emerge in 2021. What are you guys going to be looking for? What new social media apps, if any, are you going to be trying? Because there are going to be some huge winners in this next year, just like there were a bunch of huge winners with TikTok in 2020, me being included in that bunch. There are going to be a lot more people who are winning, who get lucky with good timing and being early on some new social media apps that emerged this year. And it is going to completely change some people's careers, some people's lives for the better. So I encourage you guys, if you ever felt like, man, I missed out on the right timing for Instagram. Man, I missed out on the golden age for Facebook. Man, I missed out on Twitter. If I'd have just downloaded it right when I found out about it, where would I be today? Clubhouse is what I predict to be that next big opportunity for people who take it seriously, put in the work, and get ahead while the going is still young and early on. I think last I looked, I just checked out a couple articles. There are about 600,000 people on the app right now, which is minuscule for the amount of media coverage that it's getting right now, for the amount of potential that it has to grow. So imagine if you could start building right now, while there's less than 1 million people on this app, you can start making a name for yourself that's going to grow and grow and grow as the app continues to grow. So I encourage you guys to check it out. Make sure to follow me on Clubhouse, Mayan Gordon. I'm going to be hosting a couple rooms coming up. I would love to connect with some of you guys. Maybe we can put together a couple rooms. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions about the Clubhouse, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, or any other social media apps. I'll say hello to a couple people here. We got a Facebook user, Until Scoby. Absolutely. Really looking forward to when Scoby's coming out. You guys, Scoby is another spontaneous live streaming conversation-based social media app that's going to be coming out this year. Keep your eye out for it. It's got some really exciting, very unique elements that I won't tell you about now, but are super friendly to this LinkedIn community. If you're someone who sells courses, if you have coaching services, if you're doing really anything in this kind of generalized LinkedIn space, I think you'll be interested in Scoby. Again, feel free to message me if you got any questions. What's up, Gary? Gary says, how can you get the rare invite? You got to ask someone. You can also download the app Clubhouse and just kind of wait for someone to let you in. The way it works is I think, looks in your contacts and it will ping anyone who you're already connected to on your phone in the app to try and let you in. So you can just go for it. You don't necessarily need a special invite, but that is the other way to get in, is just to ask someone, hey, do you have your invite? Could you invite me into the Clubhouse? Same to answer your question there, Philip. So how do you get an invite? You just got to ask someone for it. What's up, Laura? Make sure to follow me, Mayan Gordon. Actually, it's Mayan Gordon Media. Let me double check. It's such a new account. I don't even remember my username. I'll just double check here. Yep, Mayan Gordon. Just Mayan Gordon on Clubhouse. I'll show you guys a little. There you go. So this is what my Clubhouse profile looks like. You actually can see it a little bit there. So it's got a nice bio section. It's got, followers, following, and then at the bottom you can link your Twitter and your Instagram. It also is going to say the person that let you into the Clubhouse. I'll show you guys a couple other parts real quick. This is the main page. So each of these boxes is a room. It'll tell you the topic of the room and then show you some of the people that are in it. Down here, it'll also tell you how many people total are in the room. And then it has this, I guess that's how many people are talking. It'll tell you how many people are talking. Let's see.
Getting them visibility that will allow them to get more leads.
We just popped in a room right now.
So you can craft your message.
But we don't want to be on it.
You can craft your message to like what have you done this already? Have you already done this service?
So you can see people are in the middle of a conversation. It's really, you just pop right in. You got to start listening. You got to see what's up there. It lists a bunch of different people. I'll show you visually. I'll turn my sound down so you visually can see. So we got Gary V in a room right now who is talking, actually. See, there's Gary right there. So these are the people who have the ability to speak. Then you scroll down. These are people, I think, who are waiting to kind of for their turn to speak. And then there's everyone else that's just listening in the room. So it shows you all these different people. It's a big room right now. You can see it's got, I think, like 300 people in this room, it said. And you can tap on any one of their profiles and give them a follow as well. Swipe up, see their followers, see their description. So that's what Clubhouse looks like. That's pretty much the entire functionality of it. Again, I'll turn the sound up.
Long-term stuff instead of what dominates, which is short-term combos.
And you can see the really interesting thing about this app is it's live conversation. Live conversation is something really new to our internet landscape, right? I mean, for the longest time, we've had really heavy text-based static communications, meaning you send a written message to someone else, you wait, whenever they read it, and they send you one back. Whenever you want to read it, you read it. That is most of our communications in digital space and on the internet right now. This this movement towards audio and towards video is really interesting because the video is really what caught the most first, right? Like people saw the advantage of using video over just text very, very quickly. People saw the advantage of using video over pictures and images very, very quickly. It's almost now like we're coming back to audio and going, oh yeah, and we love to listen. And actually, when we listen to things without the visual component, we engage with it differently than when we listen to it with something to look at, which is what video is, right? Video is audio and image combined. So I think it's really interesting because, right now when podcasts are getting really, really hot is the same time when some audio-based Social media apps are coming out and they're becoming really, really hot. I'm very curious to see what other voice functionality and audio functionality starts to emerge in this next year and really over this next decade as people realize how powerful audio only is. And they start to figure out new ways to integrate it into existing behaviors, existing habits that we already have, as well as think about how it could be used to create new and even better habits that we want to have and that we want to create for ourselves. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. Thank you so much, Gary, Laura, you guys for hanging out and sharing some of your thoughts and ideas here. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your night, amazing rest of your week. If I don't see you before that, really, please feel free to reach out to me just even to say hello. Let me know what's going on in your life. I really appreciate and value every single one of you guys. And I think that 2021 is going to be an amazing year. If it hasn't already started off with a bang, definitely send me a message so I can give you some love, some support, and hopefully share some tips on how you can really get this year moving with some massive momentum to lead to some massive results and some massive happiness, because that is the most important part, isn't it, guys? Happiness, love, compassion, sending so much of that out into the world to you guys today, and have a great night.